It's been so long since I've done this. Let's see if I can do it and figure out how to upload. But it's been probably like 10 years. Oh, don't know how you're all doing, but I'm old now. This tiger, he still exists. Let's see. In the life, so many things have happened. Mr. F and I are actually getting our divorce finalized in 4 days. So there's that update. We've been separated for almost 4 years now. In a very amicable, slow process, obviously. Kid is 19 and a sophomore in college. She goes to school in Chicago and is an RA and loves that. Anyone who knows us or has been following that, I think I might have reported something about that in the past. She also is or has bipolar disorder, and so that's part of our life and our challenges and navigating that extra bit of challenge that we have in making sure that she is doing all of the things she needs to do self-care wise to stay on top of her mental health. And you know, at 19, that's still a personal struggle. So that's oh my gosh, this cat, what the heck. So that's that. But she ended up graduating a semester early right before the pandemic. So she is that class that would have been a senior during the pandemic, and she missed the first shutdown, which was nice and easy for her because she was already out of school. And then last year was her freshman year, and they ended up at her school. Chicago is much more maybe I'll say COVID responsive, so they were never in person all last year, and she ended up doing school from home, which worked out really well because she got to like baby step into that. You know, she only really had to worry about managing her schoolwork. She did really well academically, but she didn't have to worry about all the extra stressors, so it was kind of nice to like baby step into all of that. And then this year she went, and she never had lived on campus and went as an RA, which was a little bit weird, but ultimately has been really good for her, and she likes having that role, and that made it kind of easier to meet people because you have like a job to do. That's part of it. And let's see, she also has been working at McDonald's for the last, I don't know, 3 years or something, 2 years I think at McDonald's. So and every time she comes home she goes back to work. Baby is a freshman in high school. I moved with the girls from where we had been living as a family. I stayed in that house with them when we separated, and then as part of obviously liquidating marital assets, etc., we sold that house and moved one town further out, and it's a really quaint kind of Hallmark style town and a little rural city, I guess you would call it, with a ton of historic homes, like a really nice intact historic downtown, really walkable. And we were able to buy a really cute 1920s Dutch colonial with original woodwork and pocket doors and all that kind of stuff that I always wanted to have. And we have been living here for about 1.5 years, and it's walkable to the high school, which is great. I'm working as a social worker at an elementary school in Ann Arbor, where baby had gone to school. She graduated, and I'm segueing into a dean of students position, and so basically I am in charge of discipline in a K-8 school that is its own district. And I really like that, although it's all crisis and kind of draining, especially at this age. But I have the same schedule, which is really nice. And baby is able to get herself home from school, so I haven't had any stressors. That's been great. She is kind of cute nerdy, I guess is what we would say. She is on the Quiz Bowl team and loving it. They are a really good Quiz Bowl team for the state of Michigan. And she's made friends, even though this is a new school. She's made like several good friends right away and is having like a great, honestly, like easy high school experience, completely opposite of kid who had more of the typical like tumultuous teen years. I mean, obviously the bipolar didn't help with that. But she, you know, kid was much more, she did cheerleading and she did track and she had boyfriends and there was always drama and she cared about her fashion and her looks and popularity and more typical that stuff. And I think in part because we went through so many hard times with that, baby just does not care about that at all and has no interest in it. And her just went in to high school wanting to be a nerd. And I mean, I don't think she's quite as nerdy as she thinks, but she is authentically herself. And, you know, teachers like her, kids like her. It's been very easy for her. So that is one relief. If anyone who's gone through like a hard raising a teenager that had a hard time in high school, you know what a relief it is to have one where like it's an easier time. She's already just started to drive. On Monday we're getting her permit license, so that's gonna be exciting. Mr. F lives in Ann Arbor, and we have had a loose custody arrangement. Mostly the girls are with me pretty much primarily. And definitely for the first couple of years, very much most of the time. And there have just been a lot of adjustments and transitions with that kind of thing. I mean, obviously I was always the primary parent, but in some way, this is getting long. I had hoped that by separating, maybe there would be a way that he would choose to be more involved. That hasn't really been the case. So, and at this point, obviously kid's in college and baby is turning 15 in a month and has her social life in her life, and it's pretty much up to her what she wants to do. So usually I'm really trying to be able to have one night she goes there so I can have the time to decompress, but it doesn't always work that way. And what else? We weathered the pandemic, obviously, all together. I was able to work online most of the time, and both the kids were home. We liked it because we are homebodies. Oh, I had a tummy tuck this summer, so that's big news. I don't know if I mean, yes, I guess I say I recommend it, but I wish I had done it 15 years ago when I first wanted it, because it would have been worth the recovery more. I think the recovery is harder on me because I'm older, but anyone who has legitimate questions about that, feel free to ask away. I think I'm like 15 weeks out or something. I would tell you the recovery is rough. I don't know if I had assumed it would be similar to a C-section. In fact, like they really play it up like it's going to be easier than a C-section, and that is just not the case. So keep that in mind. So definitely thought, oh, easy. I thought I could be independent within 3 days of the procedure, because honestly, after a C-section, I almost was. I mean, like, you have your things, but you're walking around and stuff. No, that's not real. I think I was like dissociating for 2 straight weeks. So there's that major thing, but ultimately, I guess I'm glad I did it. You know, obviously I'm 45 and my stomach always bothered me after kids. I had, I just never, it didn't matter what I did or how thin I was or whatever. I couldn't get rid of that extra skin. So In clothes, I feel great. I still feel like super weird psychologically about it. It is weird to alter your body, so maybe that's less weird for other people, but for me it's been weird. So it's like hard to accept that I look differently, I guess, but it's only been 15 weeks. So those are some big things. That's all we've been doing. I'm pretty much busy all the time, and nope, I'm not dating. That's not a thing for me. For a lot of reasons, but mostly just because I am exhausted and I have my kids all the time. And also, I think it's been 4 years, and I think in the beginning I thought that's something I'd be more interested in, but now I'm so much more comfortable with myself as myself, and I just don't want more complications. Like, I'm really happy just to be in the moments, which aren't many, that I am by myself. Like, I'm really happy to be by myself and not have to like think about one more person's needs or wants, or, you know, whatever that is, especially because my job is a high needs job, and then obviously I have my girls. So that's that. I hope everyone has fared well and aged well, and all of your kids are doing what they should be doing, and, you know, that everything's great. All right.